Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Lead series. I'm Cheryl, I'm back kama venye nilisema, and I'm so happy to be here. We have so much in store for you guys. And of course, I'd like the gentlemen again on my left to introduce themselves, just in case for our new viewers, you know, the man in yellow.
What do you mean again?
See again, labda we have new what?
My fans wananijua.
My fans.
Hi guys, I'm Ignatius. I'm happy to be with you again. And I hope we are going to at least learn one or two things from this episode. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Thomas Ayuaki, and it's a pleasure to be here again. And as Cheryl has said, I'm looking forward to the episode.
Yeah, so we have so much in store for you guys. For me, just to kick it off, I'm mostly excited for a Kenyan health tech startup that has been able to gain funding for about $4.2 million. Unajua hiyo pesa ni ngapi? Hebu hesabu hiyo pesa.
Hebu ambia Ken atupigie hesabu.
Afanye hiyo hesabu.
Afanye hesabu hapo nyuma. Alafu atuambie.
$4.2 million. So the startup is called Ilara Health.
Yes.
It's a Kenyan-based health tech, as I've mentioned. And they were able to get this funding, of course, through different donors, different partners, different sponsors, through both equity and debt funding. So what I found very interesting about this is that all this funding is for them to be able to establish their organization. And also they've been able to reach over 3,000 private clinics within Kenya. And you know, in Kenya, we have like about maybe 15,000 clinics, if I'm not wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. So what they majorly do with these finances is that they give them diagnostic devices and also pharmaceutical products. And also as well, they give them hospital furniture. Because you know, some of these clinics, even though they're private, you will find that they're missing certain things. When the Nairobi Hospital, let me just use Nairobi Hospital as an example. Umeenda Nairobi Hospital, you find they don't have something, but ukienda Kenyatta unapata wako nayo. Yeah, so they're trying to equip these people with such things to access, especially in clinics. Because even what I've noticed is that access to hospitals si ngumu, but the problem is we don't have the resources that are needed for these people when they go to the clinics. So Ilara Health, with that funding, they're using the funding, as I've mentioned, as a way to curb that access and ability for them to get all these things that these sick people need when they go to the hospitals. And I feel like it's a really good initiative. And it was started, I think, in 2019 by three young individuals. Let me just call them young individuals. And for me, I feel like it's something really great that they're doing both in the tech space and also in the health space. Yeah.
And maybe hii itabidi tumeita mwalimu wa math achukue kijana yake ameshindwa kupiga math pale anatuangalia tu. Anyway, since they started in 2019, did they touch anything on COVID during COVID area? Were they able to contribute?
Yeah, they're present,
Yeah, definitely. Especially the kind of fundings that they're getting and the partners that they have. The type of, as I've mentioned, they are also distributing pharmaceutical products. So I think they were also part of that initiative during the COVID season. Yeah.
Because I remember during that period, we really had issues with accessing these hospital beds. You know, actually accessing an hospital bed is not just a normal bed because a patient really needs a place that can give that environment for healing and also for treatment and stuff. I hope with all what they've been getting, it's been easier for them also just to contribute and also just touch lives out there.
Yeah, because I think obviously when we talk of tech and its impact in the society, those are some of the key areas I think people look for more than anything else. How is it impacting health? How is it impacting agriculture and so on and so forth? And by the way, it's just that people maybe in the metropolitan areas in this country don't know, but dispensaries, And clinics are very critical.
They
In
are,
fact,
they are.
uko nyumbani,
Yeah.
they're the difference between somebody surviving
Yes.
and losing their life. And quite often you'll find that, because of maybe them lacking issues to do with even transport,
Yeah.
or even, as you've said, somewhere where they can be able to, like a lodge, where they can be able to have their patients come in and wait as the doctor or the nurses are attending to people. Those small details here and there make a big difference.
Yeah.
So, that fund seems like a very big opportunity for them to just do small upgrades here and there. And if you're telling me that my dispensary uko Budalangi,
iko na vitu
yeah, that's close to 40, is it 25 kilometers away from my shags, can now be able to, elevate their healthcare practices, even just slightly a little bit. Then that's what tech is for.
It gives you hope, because for me, like my grandmother, she always has to come all the way to Nairobi for treatment. But now, as we are seeing what Ilara Health is doing is so positive. Yeah. So instead of her coming all the way to Nairobi, she's so old, she's tired, the long trip, having the faith that even us, we can go there and actually take her to the hospital instead of her coming here, gives you it's such a relief, if I may say. It's such a relief. And what Ilara Health is doing, kudos, guys. Kudos.
Yeah, let's have more and more VCs, more and more donor partners engaging within that space. I think there's quite a lot we can achieve within the ICT for Health space. And it's just, even as we celebrate them, let's encourage all key stakeholders, and especially government. Mutusaidie bana. These dispensaries and healthcare facilities, they're the ones that literally, make the difference between life and death. Yeah.
And I maybe as we finalize on them, and without forgetting, guys, digital club ilienda wapi?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, it was our standing ovation segment, so
we have to.
Kudos.
So, personally, what is really coming out is improvement in health sector.
Yes,
it's really important. And if you see advancing countries, basically health sector, if it's well taken care of,
that's it.
The citizens or the community, people are living happily and healthy. Yeah. So it's a kudos, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a nice way to start. It was a nice way to start.
Kwanza it's Kenyan based. Yeah. Wakenya tunafanya jambo.
Yeah.
So moving on to our weekly segment. This week imejaa AI. Umeona AI ikiendelea?
Yeah. It's an AI week by then.
It's an AI week. It's an AI week. But before we even go to AI, Mona Airtel Africa is bringing a hub here in Kenya. The second one after Nigeria. Tumeonekaniwa, guys. Tumeonekaniwa.
And okay, this is really important. Let me talk on the angle of, or with the lens of a cloud engineer or a cloud practitioner like myself. One, Airtel has been there like a communication channel or a communication company, but by them venturing, and it's not that they've not into that space, they've been there, only that they've seen the value of also venturing into African market. And with this, they've decided to introduce 2 hubs, first of all. The first one will be in Nigeria, then the second one will be in Kenya. So this is just to improve or just to advance in their what we call as resources or
revenue
and revenue generation. So if I'll give some context, basically what is a data hub? Data hub or a data center is more like a very large area where you'll have a lot of servers where people can host their products, host their websites or applications. And a lot of youths and even tech enthusiasts in Kenya will really benefit from this, because there'll be a lot of job application, job opportunities.
Yeah.
If you check across Africa, we have around 100 data centers, but to be specific, there are 136 data centers. Okay. And the leading countries with these are South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. And we are really in that level where we can really hold up and bring or even just do well in technology. And maybe with what they're planning, based on what their CEO indicated earlier, when it was commencing in December last year, he indicated that, yes, it will commence in Nigeria. Then after that, it will also set up ours. I know ours will be quite not as big as the one in Nigeria.
Yeah,
Nigeria one will have
36 megawatts.
36 megawatts. Yeah. Kenyan one will be 7 megawatts.
And what are Ogas doing?
What have they done to get that such a big space?
But all in all, I really appreciate it that we are also leading in that space. So they are planning to extend to 3 other countries. That is our neighbors who are always battling with us, Tanzanians, then DRC Congo, then they'll go to Gabon.
Oh, wow.
But Museveni.
Museveni, ngoja kwanza. Museveni anatengeneza handshake, wacha kwanza. So, I really appreciate what Airtel has been doing overall. And just to finalize on Airtel, they have really improved Kenyan network system, because if you check even on 5G alone, Kenya is leading in terms of 5G allocation because of what Airtel has really done. They have covered around 80% of Kenyan counties are already accessing Airtel of the 5G coverage. So this is really good. And in terms of connectivity, we are getting it there. So I really want to appreciate Airtel as well for what they're doing. Yes, it's for them, it's for revenue streams. But overall, if you check, we are transitioning from those ages whereby we needed to climb trees or go on top of hills to make calls.
Wacha chocha wewe.
No. Wewe hujaiona Masai.
Mbona unasema Masai?
Si Ian ako hapa.
Ngoja. Hapa ni make sense.
Ushaona Masai mnono?
But I think it's really a nice space whereby we are advancing.
So there's something you mentioned that's interesting. Obviously, I'm not happy about the difference between us and Nigeria, but that's a topic for another day. Yeah. I think what people need to focus on more than anything else is just the fact that one, it's job opportunities within the cloud space. I think when we talk of transitioning to the digital economy or transitioning to W3, these are the building blocks that we kind of highlight. And so even just having one, opens up opportunities for even close to 10,000 engineers. Because remember, this is a service at the end of the day. It's a service for individuals and entities that first of all want to transition to the cloud space, and more importantly, want to start working with large sets of data. So it's all pluses for everybody, and I think, if we can be able to set up a few others and create more of a competition, I think that's something that can work for us. Something that's interesting about Airtel is that I didn't know that they've covered 80% of it, because I've seen
89% of Kenyan counties are covered.
I realized recently when I was traveling that my phone was on 5G the entire time.
Oh, you have Airtel?
Yeah, I have an Airtel line. So I started using it a few weeks ago. So when I was traveling, I was like, network I'm streaming.
I'm pia mimi nisonge Airtel.
Yeah, I think you should have at least 2 lines, because honestly, for me, all the way from Nairobi all the way to Kisumu, it was fluctuating here and there, but most of it was on.
Lakini wameletea Safaricom compare.
It's good.
Definitely.
Why am I saying that it's good? When you leave someone to dominate a market and monopolize the market, there is no creativity coming out.
Yeah.
You see? So it's good. Let us also open our eyes to other new things. Now, also, Tom, just to give you something to make you feel like we've not lost it by just having 7 megawatts. No. If you check in East and Central Africa, we are the ones leading in data centers. We have the largest data center in East and Central Africa. So we are still
Tuko vibaya.
yeah.
Compared to Museveni.
You want another app?
Compared to at least
Airtel
Museveni,
Africa.
we always do better than them.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
Oh,
Airtel
okay.
Africa is really doing that thing.
Yeah.
Doing the thing.
I'm glad. I'm happy. Ni kama nitasonga Airtel. Naona watu wakini-convince.
Uwataki kuwapatia digital club?
Si sorry basi. Hey, kwani unafanya kazi na Airtel?
Nini?
We have to
Like
appreciate
Airtel for a full 15 minutes.
I feel poor because it's my field.
Yeah.
It's,
What I love doing, yeah.
That's nice. Seeing people who are in the field and actually seeing the type of improvement that a telecommunication organization is bringing and putting impact in African countries brings so much hope for us. Ndio unaona hata hatuachwi nyuma. Even though we are like a third world country, hatujaachwa nyuma sana.
Yeah,
There's hope,
that's true.
guys.
Well,
There's hope.
it's true.
Yeah.
I think Kenya is one of the very few countries where we are just third world by name. But in regards to, our ability to innovate and really just develop new job and entrepreneurial spaces, I don't think there are many countries that can compare.
Tom,
Globally.
kindly. Tarnishing Kenyan name like that is not.
No, I've said
We are the Silicon Savannah. Don't forget.
yeah, Silicon Savannah is a bit much, but
come on.
but yeah, I get what you're doing. Yeah, Silicon Savannah itabidi
Atulie kidogo.
but we're heading there.
Yeah.
We're heading there. Yeah.
Speaking of new stats, actually, have you guys heard about Sora? The new generative AI that is transforming text to video. Mimi nakwambia watu wenye wanatengeneza hizi vitu wamefikiria. Acha niseme hivyo.
And we're at a point now, Ian and Ken.
Kazi yenyu ina
Haiwezi kweli.
Haiwezi.
I've seen.
Unajua kitambo watu walikuwa wanatumia jembe, tractor ikakam.
Exactly. So bado analima na
Na bado analima na jembe, unaona? Na bado
Sasa
zote
tractor
watatumia
inajiendesha.
pamoja.
sasa nyinyi ndio jembe. Sora ndio tractor.
Wale ni tractor.
Hapana, sisi ni grounds. Si ndo grounds. But sasa kuna
So nyinyi mnalimwa.
Yeah. Because
but sasa Sora hizi
So-
kama kuchukua job. It's a new software that ina change text to video, but basically it's also limited because it runs for like 1 minute. No, you cannot generate
1 minute. It creates 1 minute videos.
Like 1 minute video, yeah.
oh, it's just 1 minute.
Yeah, like that is the maximum size iko.
Oh,
For it
okay.
for it to generate that much, it can take even more than an hour. Like
More than an hour.
Yeah, so like there was a review that I was checking. They were saying like you can imagine now you want to generate a whole movie. And this
Yeah, we see happen.
Yeah.
1 minute. You see how tricky it is.
Yeah.
So watu nyang'anywa kazi virahisi hivi. Si rahisi.
Kuna hope.
Even
Kuna
the job markets tunaona kazi tenda chini kidogo. Maybe like unaona when you have like Envato the stock videos.
Yeah, the stock stuff.
Because
Yeah.
those are the stock videos definitely has kwangi that long. But some stock footage,
Yeah.
people doing some short adverts.
Hata ma reels.
Hata ma reels. Inaweza limit kidogo,
Yeah.
but when you use it as an advantage, itasaidia sana.
Yeah, but the thing I saw that was interesting about it is that to the naked eye, inakaa by the way very, very real. But I think they
the
started
realism in
noticing
it.
like things to do with hand movement.
A lot of glitches
Yeah,
within the
it's
hands, the
still
legs.
not quite there. And then I think there was one specific video they were showing of the lady who was walking
on the streets,
in the streets and stuff. So ulikuwa unaona mguu yake ni kama ina slide. So
kuna ingine tuta slide in somewhere huko kwa watu wataona. This one ya ile kiti fulani walikuwa msana generate kiti. The seat was supposed to be there and then now the seat started moving.
Ina melt, ina melt.
Kuna malfunction kadhaa. Hata kuna ingine imegenerate a grandmother akiwa nikana celebrate birthday. So ukiangalia hand movements bado hajazi
it's still not,
bado haziko at par. Na plus kuna ingine pia una generate like someone ako kwa cloud ana read a book. Ukiangalia the way the pages are flipping with the hand, it's much different sana. So
are you guys seeing it as a positive or negative? Obviously, as you've said, you are looking at it as a tool to help you in your content development and stuff. And I love the idea of it replacing maybe or providing an alternative solution to some of these platforms like Invato, because as big as the library is, obviously there's still limitations. But you guys still feel as if, even with the progress that it's clearly going to make, you're still looking at it as a tool rather than as an enemy, Ama?
Yeah, actually, can't see it as an enemy. I think at the end of the day, it depends with the way you view it. Because something about it. First, actually, when I was reviewing it, I was like, wow, these guys, yani, people are going beyond. Yani, you can't imagine just taping something and then it gives you the exact thing. As much as there's some of those limitations, which I'm sure they are working on currently, but it's amazing. Then it will simplify some of our work, especially where maybe sometimes you want to check out for those stock footage to add to your content. It will be it will mostly, like Ian have said, it will challenge those people who are developing those stock footages. Those people who develop stock footages and then now they sell them. Now this is going to be like a competition for them. But I think as much as it is competition, we have to like accept at the end of the day, world is changing.
That's true.
You know, like technologies, everything is evolving. So we have to kimbizana nayo. To see, like, okay, you're giving us this competition now.
What a PSCC,
So creativity at the end.
We can't limit ourselves because tumeona, we have to think out of the box even us. Because at the end of the day, also it's still people who are creating these things.
Yeah, actually, that's where I wanted to go. It's still human-centered.
Yeah, so it was a thought. It was once a thought.
Yeah.
But something that I'll also just give you a thumbs up, Ken, that you've brought up positively, is not taking it as an enemy. Because one, AI came out there and people are so much of, AI is here to take our jobs and things like that. But generally, AI is not coming to take your job. The person using AI is the one who is going to take your job. And I appreciate how you're taking it positively, and even to our listeners. When this tech comes, is an opportunity for us to grab it and also see on how to utilize it. Now, maybe just a question to you engineers. There's a scene or also just a scenario where they also talked about time-lapse kind of videos that can be curated by this software. So on time-lapse, someone will really pause a camera for days or weeks just to cover all the scenario, whatever is taking place. But they were talking about it, you prompting it with the keywords and exactly what you want, and it generates. In that level, do you see that also that's something that you, even as an engineer or video producer, you can also leverage on that, opposed to long hours of you staying there and recording?
The good thing about it is that it creates something that you can spend more time or even months, even generating like a time lapse for a city, and you needed like covering it for a week. You can have that as you can just prompt the text and it can give you the video. I'm seeing it also as an advantage if they just twitch it a bit, because generally making like 3D animation, ukinipea 3D sahi kutengenezea ndakwambia after
It's
1
a
month.
lot. Yeah.
With that just a small clip, like a 1 minute,
It can help.
it's really a lot. It takes a lot of time, but the way it composes it to like generating it within an hour or two, it's something amazing.
Okay, if I'm not wrong, there is one which is for animation specifically, because this one Sora specifically came
I've
out
seen one for animation.
Sora came specifically for videos, and they advanced from there was that one initially which was called was it Runaway something? Which
came from,
it was not as well defined as the way Sora they have advanced it, and they have like even the definition, everything. That's why everyone right now is amazed about it, because like even I remember there's sometime Ian showed me one of the footage, and I was like, "Are you sure these guys didn't download the stock footage and then put it there and say, yeah?" You see, like unless you pay so much, like you be
Very, very keen.
yeah, you be keen, and then now you identify certain things. Ni ngumu, you see. And then for me, I'll view it as if they advance it and make it like Iggy have put that time lapse thing. I think we should also take it as videographer. You take it as a tool, a tool that can assist you maybe to fasten your job. You want to finish up something. Instead of like you're saying now, let me go and put a camera out there. I want to take the time lapse of the sky.
Exactly.
You see.
Or even rather than you spending time going through a lot of stock videos or stock photos, really trying to find for something that fits your job,
you can just type it,
prompt it and direct it to give you exactly that.
Actually,
so I think it's also good.
To add on that, there's this other, what do they call themselves? They call themselves the 11 Labs. 11 Labs, they're the guys who launched also text to audio, which also you can, right now you can also do a voiceover, a whole voiceover with just typing a text.
Wow.
Funny thing, I think, can I play it?
You'll give them. You'll play for them.
I'll play it actually, which I did.
Yeah.
Actually, it's for Grayspace. I did it. Is
using the tool.
using the tool. I was
okay.
trying it earlier on today. I used the tool to create something for Grayspace. It was just something.
Maybe if you can listen, I think it's fine. Kindly.
Just like a sample.
Na kama producer hizo unaweka kando kwa desktop.
You produce.
Ama Ian.
This is Grayspace Studios, your sanctuary for innovative content. Welcome to the realm of creativity, where imagination knows no bounds. This is Grayspace Studios, your sanctuary for innovative content and unparalleled production.
Now,
Ooh, that's
Wow.
that is an AI.
Atumesema inaitwa?
That 11 Lab.
11
Lab. Wow.
From text to
audio.
So the text you developed, the content.
That is, if you remember, that is the content that we wrote that we were supposed to do. Iggy was supposed to record. So I just pasted that.
Bako kaongeza unparalleled.
Kuna ingine hapo hivyo Ken alitoa asubuhi, it generated a music. Actually a Kikuyu song, or you just even a Swahili song.
How does it understand other languages? Or you direct? Okay.
But it's
what prompt did you use? What prompt did you use?
It was called Suna. You just prompt, like I just wrote I want a Kikuyu love song. I wrote Kikuyu love song.
Naika
beat,
yes,
everything. Just that you're feeling the way the
AI
pronouncing is kinda, but you can feel that is Kikuyu. This thing is singing Kikuyu.
Wow.
Like,
Fanya hivi, before tumalize, utakuwa umetengenezea moja ya Kikisi, lakini tuendelee tu.
Kisses were chilling, bro.
Kumbe ako hapa tatufanyie.
So like this AI, like it's just amazing how
it's a really creative tool that if you take advantage of it, it will help all of us.
There's quite a lot to explore. As you've seen.
It is.
Now those guys, even 11 Lab, it's a company which is called like that. When they saw Sora. Now for them, they are working on theirs, which will be now for making sound effects, which you can use if the Sora, you want to create a movie with Sora.
Yeah.
Then
Sound
you get sound
effects.
effect from
Yeah, and you have your complete movie.
Sasa ya watu wenye wanafanyanga watapoteza job.
But you see,
But
now
anyway, we can embrace
that
it.
is where the thing is. You see, now that is where the thing is. Because even when we're doing those sound effects and recording those sound things, funny thing, even me, I've done some scoring of some few short
films
movies
and
stuff.
TVs. Yeah.
But you see, when you even download those stock and you download and insert them there, there's always something missing. As much as you're almost there, there's always something missing. And that's why even in movies, they always want the real or the onset natural sound. Yeah, like you want like there's a time I went to shoot with somebody a documentary, and there were some things he was telling me. I want you to record that person walking. I want you to record that person cutting
A leaf.
that leaf, those sounds. But I was like, see, I don't know this. He said, no, I want it natural as it is.
Yeah.
So you see, at the end of the day, yeah.
They still need you guys, man.
Thank you.
No matter what AI brings. Sisi wenye
Sisi
tuko kwa
hatutoki.
hawawezi toka na hatutoki.
Yeah. And maybe just one other thing, Cheryl, before we conclude. Something to take note of.
Yeah.
That arms race for AI is becoming
It's
more and
crazy.
more competitive.
Yes.
Like the one from text to sound, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think
I'm impressed. I'll go sample that thing.
Yeah,
Try nifike home.
over the next few episodes.
Yeah, we should
strictly have content around just that race.
Yeah.
And how much it's hitting up, because watu wataki kuachwa nyuma, by the way. It's very
The race
exciting.
to AI. The
I'd
race
like to
AI.
bring something, just to throw something for us to think around. In terms of safety or security, sileti vero hapa. So the thing is, if I would tell Sora to generate for me a short video of Ian stealing a chicken in Laikipia.
Yeah, that video is there. Don't worry.
How would that video really portray Ian as Ian? And if I share it outside, people will really fight to differentiate between the two. And how is the platform itself also ensuring safety of people not maybe tarnishing other people's images out there?
Yeah.
If I can go, I read somewhere, kwa hizi ma review, they say they're not really generating, like having somebody like input a person, your own, like putting personas of people on the data
on the prompt system,
yes,
or even the video being produced.
And the other limitation that it has, it's because it's based in the US. So not exactly most of the prompt that has been put on the database have the African vibe or something dealing with Africa, but maybe they have the US, a bit of China. That's what I've seen and on the reviews. And also on the security about privacy, they are really, really trying to not like have... How can I...
Because there is something they're
trying to respect people's privacy.
Yes.
And I saw that they are also tagging more or less like a code to that. So that code maintains it to the platform. Anyone viewing it can check where was it generated from. So you cannot even claim that this is Ian stealing a chicken. However, guys, he stole a chicken.
Yes, guys, and actually,
sorry to interrupt you. There's another one that I would like you guys to go and explore if you have not come around it. It's called the Muse AI. That is MUSE. That is it's a very interesting AI that I was having fun earlier on with it. As me and Ian, we are laughing there. You just type Trump dancing. It brings Trump actually dancing.
So it's not something...
No, that is text to image now.
Wow.
Weirdly, I don't know why that came into my thought. I typed Raila Odinga crying. And it brought exactly somebody like I was even surprised.
This is done. This is done.
But you see, like I was like, how does this guy even looks almost the same like Raila?
Anafanana
And this
kabisa.
crying, I was like, I know way.
But
Like,
initially
AI
we
is on
had
another
some images coming up, like, I don't know, Uhuru or Ruto singing. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it's borrowing from the same.
Okay, now that one was what you do. You use your image, and then now it. I don't know. It was something to do with the lips.
Oh,
it's just the lips
it's
and the
lip
movement.
syncing.
Yeah, it is also an AI actually. But now this one, it's an image.
It's an image generator.
Text to image. It's
AI
generated.
is really taking over the world.
It's quite a
and
bit.
it's actually quite amazing, regardless of the limitations and everything. What we have to remember is that these are still people. What kama mimi wewe tumeka hapa, they just came up with an idea and said, oh, why don't we make it easier for so and so people? So we also shouldn't see it as a competition or them trying to take away our jobs.
No. We are in the machine learning era now, and I think that's what's been said out there.
Yes, and
every single service provider,
yes.
It's now learning.
Yeah,
it's now learning.
yeah,
So all
we
of
should
these things you're
accept it.
seeing, it's a virtue of hey, if you want to generate X, if you want to generate Y, you can use these sorts of data sets
Yes.
to be able to put together. So as you've said, it's in the process of learning as much as it can, and then hopefully within. You've seen how ChatGPT is, moving across, from small to large language models. So hopefully, within the next 5 to 10 years, we'll be working with, a lot of capabilities.
That is true. That is true. And actually, even speaking of ChatGPT, hata ndio umenikumbusha. ChatGPT, ni kama wanatuangalia, wanaanza kupata memory.
Yeah.
Umesikia hiyo jambo?
Yeah.
ChatGPT is actually getting memory where if you're typing something, it'll actually remember it. Or it actually works in two ways. You type something and it'll remember. Or if you're constantly using it and searching the same thing, when like ikikuletea
If you prompt it again,
yes, it'll letter too from what you've been searching.
Yeah.
There's a positive and a negative, I feel, of it. But for me, I'll take the positive side because it's making my work easier. Instead of writing, wacha mimi niwaambie ukweli, mimi utumie ChatGPT like nonsense. If it is there, why not use it? Yeah. It makes our work easier. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Even for you guys, right? It makes our work easier and it's very effective. Nakwambia kama ningekuwa najua hiyo kitu nikiwa university.
It came in the right time ukisha graduate.
First class. But what do you guys think about the whole memory thing, Tom?
Yeah, so for me, I think that there's something important that you've talked about, and that's at the end of the day, inasaidia kazi. And, think of the transaction through this point of view. If I'm having a discussion with Ken today, tomorrow, if I have to have the same discussion with him, and we are starting from the very beginning, we'll be very, very frustrated.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah, so the biggest feature about it is that it's not storing just for the sake of, building some large data model. No. It's actually storing for your own benefit.
Yeah, and easier communication.
Easier communication. In fact, in real time, if you have something that has a memory capacity, basically what you're engaging with is asking a question. Hey, do you remember what what we did yesterday? Can I be able to add to that? And because now it has memory of the different search prompts that you had shared with it, it makes your work a lot more easier. So for me, strictly from a productivity point of view, best feature that you could add to that ChatGPT is it having memory. And as long as it's memory that specifically serves your subscription, because again, I think the way they want to roll it out is that they'll share it with paid subscribers, and then hopefully after a few quarters, they can be able to see if they can release it to the free model, to the free users or the free loaders, as Ignatius likes to call them. But if I'm being honest, this only works for those who have paid subscriptions. long term, it only works for that because, one of the unwritten rules within the space of tech, even YouTube, I think, follows this more than anybody else, is that if you pay for exclusivity, then that means that your data is also protected from any sort of external interference. So having it exist within that space is very, very amazing. Have it mainly focus on the productivity aspect of your day-to-day activities. That's also very critical. The only issue is, again, how much are we sharing with these machines?
Exactly.
How much are we giving these machines?
How much access are we giving them?
Yeah, and I'll give you a very simple example. Even though this was a ChatGPT, this was Gemini. So I was changing the location for our new offices. It was still reading Kilimani even as late as last weekend. So I was changing the location on Google. So I get to the bio, and I always freeze up on the quick bio because I don't know. There's usually a term that they use. So I get the Gemini prompt there, and so I decided, okay, type and bring up the quick bio. You know what that? The model did? Ilienda website, Facebook, kashikanisha zote, ikaieka word for word. I even went to the presentation. Ikawekwa word for word, exactly the way the CEO explains it.
Yeah.
Exactly, Iggy, word for word, ikaieka.
Wow.
Everything down to the full stop. And that's when I was like, okay. Yeah, hiki tunaanza kuzoeana. Tunaanza kuzoeana. So yeah, the thing of, you get a bit insecure because you're like, hey, okay, this thing.
How much can you access?
Yeah, this thing knows. So you can imagine, for you guys, if you're editing and, can you have like your own method of madness? Kumbe yeye inaitrack pole. So the next time somebody comes, they say, hey, just based on, because it also monitors, depending on how you're working with it, it also monitors activities on the screen. So somebody can just say, summarize the whole sound engineering process for the last audio that was worked on. And it will be able to collect all of the key steps and even narrate what you've done. So yeah, it's 50-50.
It's 50-50.
I see a lot of positives in it.
But they're also...
But my issue is that, one, they need to, first of all, leave it to exist primarily in the paid subscription space, because there's a lot of data protection laws that will really, shield people from any sort of outside interference. And then, they just need to do a better job of... They need to convince us a little bit more. Yeah. There's a group of people, wengine hata wako kwa hii studio, despite the fact that wamesema wako confident, mbio imeanza. So when you see models being able to do, whereas being able to not only work within their resources, but actually grab from different platforms and bring together, there's still a lot of people who are like, But in general, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm siding with Cheryl.
Yeah.
A lot of positives,
but bado iko na negatives.
Bado kuna vitu mbili tatu.
Now, since Tom ameamua kutupa watu wa free version under the bus, ni sawa.
No, but mbona ni mwatupa hizo. It's for their protection.
No, umesema tu vizuri, wale wanalipa kuna data protection right. It's okay. However, there's something I want to say. I'm also just applauding for the sheer growth that is taking place in terms of tech. I really appreciate it. And there is one key a phrase I had long time ago, but it still lingers in my mind all the time, that the difference between a robot and a human being is that a human being forgets and remembers, but a robot, if it's forgets forever, because it's more or less like the memory is wiped out. So by...
you think a robot can forget?
That I actually wanted to say something about that.
It can forget. Forgetting is the
It can forget.
entirely meaning the memory is wiped out.
Okay, yeah, it can be wiped.
Yeah, it's wiped out, so it's not going to remember. So as I'm bringing this up, it's a very good feature that is a development taking space, whereby I also remember sometimes I struggle so much with these prompts. You give it a string of text, tell it, kindly remember this discussion so that we can continue generating whatever you have. In the short while, you generate 1 or 2 pages, then it starts generating its own things. And you're telling it, I remember me and John, one of my colleague in the workspace, always becomes very stringent with it. Kindly refer back to what we were discussing. He literally does it word to word. So, but with the upcoming of or upgrading of its memory, it's really good. It's going to help us a lot, and I appreciate his attitude.
Mimi kama venye nimesema, it's making work easy. Na pia mimi acha nikwambie ukweli, Tom, pia mimi sijalipia ChatGPT.
No.
Tuko wengi. Nojua tuko naye under the bus.
And by the way, the good thing is that there's no pressure to do.
That is true. Because it's still giving you a good service.
It's still giving you more than good enough service. Yeah. There's still a lot of competition even at that base level, because remember, even Gemini, they have a free subscription, and it's still doing quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's more than okay for guys to use it at that specific point, and then slowly, based on what it is you want to kind of scale up, you can be able to go into some of these paid models. But again, the quote that rings in my mind right now, and one that really justifies the 50-50 decisions we are at, is somebody said one day that memories are actually what make us human beings. The difference between us and animals and machines is that we have that memory. So whether somebody is here or they passed, or maybe somebody who you met when you're 15, that's what makes the whole human experience what it is. So yeah, it's those small things here and there. Memory really makes it fun to kind of use. But those the philosophers who look at life at that level and see how technology is slowly, coming close to what they view as being existential, it's tricky.
For me, I just feel like it's just evolving, and it's a good thing. And as we said, we should embrace it the best we can and learn. Here we are learning as well. And I'm sure you guys have heard him talking about Gemini, nini, wacheni ni washo. Wacheni ni wapange. Gemini is actually from Google, and it's wanna compete even at ChatGPT. That's why actually Tom has been using the example of Gemini when he was talking about ChatGPT. Compare iko hivi. Gemini na Chat. Ako tu hivi. So it's actually from Google, as I mentioned, and they've just rebranded their AI, generative AI. Let me call it chat box. It was called Bard. It was called Bard. Bard. B-A-R-D.
The Kiswahili wedu. Tunaitaga Bard.
Yeah, so it's just, they've just, changed the name. And of course, with the new name comes new advancements as well. And then there's also Gemini Advanced. With this Gemini Advanced, hata nimeona, guys, tuhitaji kulipa ya tuta, tuition nini, Gemini. Like it can even help content creators create content. And that's why we are talking. I've told you guys, this episode near AI. Like it's making we should learn and how to embrace the changes that are coming to us, especially through AI. And I feel like Gemini and Chat, honestly, they're giving us a run for our money. Do you subscription? Unajua ni mara ngapi nimesema ama ni subscribe to. You know, because the quality is good and what they're doing. So with the new changes for Google, now wacha niseme Gemini, they even changed some names from Google Workspace. Now it's Gemini Workspace. From Google Cloud, now it's Gemini Google Cloud. So they're making all these changes, all these advancements just to make our work easier and simple. And honestly, it makes me enjoy doing my work, because hata nikisoma niko like wow, hiyo ni ukweli, you know. So it's making our work easier, and we are embracing it. We are embracing it.
And remember the biggest difference, where I think they have an edge, if they are willing to really push Microsoft, is remember this is still Google.
Exactly.
This is still the primary search engine. This is where, servers zimesimamishwa, data servers zimesimamishwa zenye zimetosha hii country mzima. So the ability to innovate within that space, and more importantly now, move it towards the productivity suite, where it's on docs, it's on Sheets, it's on Google Meets, it's on all of these different applications at a very high and premium level. That move, by the way, they might not see it as being very important, because let's face it, ChatGPT is probably transitioning to version 5.
That's
in
true.
the not so distant future. But let me tell you,
4.8,
yeah, they're in 4.8 if I'm not wrong. Those steps that Google is taking or Gemini is taking, the next 16 to 18 months, boss.
There'll be changes.
There'll be a lot. Remember, they're still the number one search engine. They're the ones who deal with the most data on a daily basis. So if they decide to push these guys to the next level, I can guarantee you that even if they might not win as soon as you think, it's going to be very competitive for a very long time.
And they're doing it, you know? And they're doing it, and they're good at it.
And how much is it? Is it 14?
It's $19.99, which is just $20. And it's quite similar to how other language models also are just pricing.
Because ChatGPT, I think, is still $20, $21.
Yes. So it's quite similar across.
Mwalimu wa math.
Akuja bebe huyu kijana. Tulimpe math kidogo ameshindwa.
This guy has not been calculating since the first episode. Since the first episode. Those wale wanatafuta Easter eggs. Every single time we've asked our math expert and sound engineer to do some math for us.
Mwalimu wa math.
Engineer is not engineering.
It's not engineering. Ama Ken nadanganya. Since the first episode.
Ni ukweli. Niliona kwa billboard.
Now Gemini is here. Instead of you cracking your head, just talk to Gemini and you'll have your answers. So as we check across, also some other benefits that come along with all these transformations that are taking place. Now, for Gemini, they just basically what Bird did is to just adapt the parent bot name, which was Gemini. So anyone using the free version now is being, they're using, or their platform is being hosted by Gemini bot. But whoever goes to the paid version, which is Gemini Advanced, uses Gemini Ultra 1.0, which is quite advanced, and now that's the one that you pay for. And hapo ndio penye unafunzwa, how to be a tutor.
Exactly. All those stuff.
And some other benefits that I know you're still battling between you making that payment. Let me tell you a few things that you're going to benefit from it. One is it can also do image prompts. From text to images, it can generate images, and also so many advanced things that you can do with it.
Yeah, full PowerPoint slides, like the pitch deck for Grayspace. Yeah. I did it with
si wacha ni convince basi. Kazi yangu ipe rahisi.
Sasa wewe toka tu hapa. Hatukuachi under the bus.
Tunaenda na wewe. Ukifika kwa subscription useme it was recommended by a colleague.
Kuna coupon code kwani ama ni nini?
Jina kaingia kuna coupon code.
Niko na shares Google Gemini
wanitafute. I am ready.
Ongea Kiingereza uambie. Waambie wakutafute.
Ngoja kidogo hata kabla aseme hiyo Kiingereza. Ati Iggy, what was it initially called?
Bird.
Bird.
You need to breathe in. Nakumbuka nikiwa shule nilikuwa naambiwa ukitaka kuimba unatoa sauti kwa tumbo.
Unaambiwa
bird. Yeah, so actually we're really in the age of technology, and we're appreciating a lot of advancement. Yes, we as we are within Africa, yes, we get it more or less after some time. It has really blossomed a lot, but we also enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we are here to utilize all the technology that is available.
Yeah. So I really like Gemini. Lakini unaona washani convince. So it looks like Gemini and a Gemini advanced sasa.
Hapa.
Hivi. ChatGPT. Huh? Run for my money. But yeah, so just to take us kidogo tu out of AI. We talk about how the UN is actually inaambia tech companies to stop promoting toxic content online, especially with what is going on
and profiting.
Exactly, promoting and profiting from this toxic content, that especially with what is going on in the world right now. And I think it's a good thing that honestly they should be put in line, in my personal opinion, because it's not an easy time for people who are going through the hardships. So them actually profiting from such content is it's traumatizing, man.
It is
Quite traumatizing, and it can affect someone mentally because of the things you're seeing. And we also have to remember that kids are also using this technology. So when they're promoting and profiting such content, we also have to remember our children. So for me, what I'd say is kudos to the UN chief who actually, put his foot down and actually told the tech companies that enough is enough. Enough is enough. Kindly put a rundown on the toxic content. What do you guys think about that?
I think for me, it's, as you've said, it's very important because this is where we are at. And kindly I'll just give a disclaimer. We are not in support of any group or function in context to what it is I'm about to share. At the end of the day, people are losing their lives. And that's something that, whichever side you support, you do not want to see. But I think the war between Israel and Palestine is a great example because now it has degenerated to the Jewish versus Islam community. And these are people who historically have gone through quite a lot, and are very sensitive to any sort of perceived attack against them. And you've seen social media pretending to ban and regulate, but at the end of the day, they're still letting public figures with a lot of influence, carelessly speak about these particular issues without any sort of consequence. And you've seen how it has ballooned. You've seen even for us, we've fallen victim to so many different rumors. People are posting videos of, hey, ile building imechomwa, ile imeangushwa. Even the fight against Ukraine and Russia is a very good example. Hey, Ukraine now is down. And wameangusha. Hata ile building, kumbe, they're taking clips from movies and placing them there. And you see, for us, we can look at it and initially be shocked and say, okay, this is getting dangerous. But we can imagine somebody from, the Ukrainian country seeing that and the type of emotion it provokes. It's tricky. And even if you bring it here in Kenya, where I've seen, people use social media, especially during the times of elections.
Oh, yeah.
To cause us to forget. Yes. Or to have amnesia around the fact that we are all from one community. We are all, we went to the same schools.
The unity.
We went to the same churches. Because that's the reality. You, me, Ken, Ian, we went through the same experience, regardless of whether ulisoma Kenya High or Bukuku Primary, or it's the same teachers. We went to the same churches. So people use social media to kind of cause those divisions. And we can pretend and say that, but we've seen that there's a role that it plays. So them being called out and actually UN taking that significant step. And I would want them to even take the EU route where it's forcing them through legislative efforts. It's forcing them to make that change. I think it will really help. Because after hapa Kenya, Yes, sisi tumekuwa wajinga. The type of bullying I'm seeing, even just put even ethnicity aside, the type of bullying I'm just seeing on general issues that should allow for diversity in terms of opinions. It's very
it's growing.
It's very very tricky. It's even sad that something that was as straightforward and as as clear to support as end femicide in Kenya still had people who are opposing. Takuwa ni ule alifika aje hapo. So you see that one comment has around 3,000 replies. Yeah. And the one comment there that say, rest in peace, we need to do better. Ile iko na matusi mbili, you need to do better ni wewe. So you get. So Facebook can't remove this other comment. They can't remove this other comment because people are interacting with it the most. But the truth is, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. So for me, it's a good step. Yeah. It's a good step. I really wish they can be able to hit some of the more global issues, but also focus through different government authorities. Wafike huku chini kwa ground. Yeah, let them come all the way to countries like Kenya, all these places where internet penetration is at a high level. And let's try and make it better for everybody.
Just one key point I've drawn from that, but before I go to it, I'll give a very controversial scenario that took part during Trump's campaign. That's back. When was it? When he became the president?
2016, 2017. Yeah.
Facebook played a lot in his presidency, and there was a very badly tinted documentary that displayed how Facebook really helped him to come into. So generally, whatever UN is doing is trying to avoid all this taking place. However, you've brought up something very good, trying to encourage UN also to take what European Union did, or basically what I'm thinking around, is it possible for them to bring out policies that really stringently govern that area?
It is.
So that we can really reduce this to an environment whereby it's conducive to everyone. Yeah. So I think that's where, if they can get to that level, they can really help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, mturudishie Facebook yetu. Sisi kitambo tulikuwa tunapenda tu photos. But there for us, when we started using Facebook, Ken, I don't know, you started in 2007, 2005, 2006, 2007 there.
You're shouting your age.
Yeah, sisi hatuna shida, sisi tushazeeka. By then, that's the thing we used to use it for mainly. It's just sharing photos, laughing, and really... Status ilikuwa maneno yote.
And then kulikuwa na ingine ilikuwa inaitwa To Go. Sijui uko nakumbuka To Go. Hiyo pia zilikuwa, but Facebook was really the thing at that
To
time.
Go, MiG 33.
Yes.
Watu wa MiG tuko.
Nakumbuka.
MiG ilikuwa moto. Hiyo ni dating site within.
Your Tinder? It was your Tinder?
Yeah, Tinder without photos, without anything. Maneno ni SMS.
Maneno tu,
Saksa.
Yeah. So there's a version of social media. That's my whole thing. There's a version of social media that was positive. And that was, even, and I think that's why the friends concept was such an amazing addition to just social media, platforms in general, because you could create small ecosystems of 5, 10, 15, 20 people who are interested in keeping up with their life and really just enjoy and thrive within that space. In my Facebook account, I have 97 friends. 97. Haijai panda, haijai pita juu ya mia, but the 97 people are people I engage with from time to time. And so my timeline is very, very different from maybe, let's say, somebody else who has 3, 4, 5,000.
Kama huyu. Amesema tu sasa kuna 5,000.
Yeah.
5,000.
Yeah. So, just figuring ways in which on a legislative level we can be able to do something, but also here individually, just be in charge of what you experience on social media. I made a decision a long time ago to not just follow for the sake of doing so. Look at what you are following. How does it impact your mood from time to time? And then just from there, it becomes this fun thing that you can
something
engage with from
enjoyable,
time to time.
and where you're not scared about all this. Like, there's so much going on in the internet, and I feel like we're not only keeping ourselves safe, but also our children when you're on our watoto. You know, because it's a totally different story, but you remember when Snapchat, Facebook, and what was it, TikTok or what? They were all walienda mbele ya koti, and they had to
they had to explain to guys like what's happening.
Because of protection. And it all starts from there. And so also another thing is this streaming evolution that is happening actually, and what it actually means for cable TV. By streaming, namaanisha vitu kama
live streaming
Netflix.
Exactly. Netflix, Prime Video. Unajua Prime
Apple
Video igi? Ati Apple TV, unatumianga Apple TV?
Come on.
Acha niachie hapo. I will leave it at that, my friend.
Anyway.
Acha niwaambie. Unaona kwenye hao wameniweka ile ligi wameniweka hao. Tuendelee.
No, point of action, guys, is that hapa tuko na family. I'll leave it at that. I'll bring it one day
to be brought up.
But yes, the streaming evolution and what it means for cable TV. Mnakumbuka kitambo, wacha nianzie tu penye TV ilianzia tukiwa watoto. Najua age difference ni kadhaa, lakini kila mtu alikuwa na aerial. Mnakumbuka? Aerial. Weka vizuri.
Hapo.
Bas.
Kidogo aimeacha.
Grochi. I even remember we had a black and white TV. It looked like this. It looked like this. Alafu hapa nyuma imejaa. And then it was black and white. Bas. Ilikuwa imejaa.
Pause.
Later after that, we had, now they brought my DSTV. Let me tell you the first time we got DSTV in our house. My friend, I used to wake up at 6 a.m. to go watch Mickey Mouse. 6 a.m. Mamako anaenda job, wewe na yeye. Unaenda kwa kiti. I even used to sleep ati nikutoa hapo chini na watch. Nalala, nasema time inaenda mami atanipata na watch. But it feels so good. But that was cable TV. That was the goodness of it. You know, these kids don't even know about that. Me, I go home, my siblings are like, have you paid for Netflix? I'm like, watch DSTV. You know, there's cable television.
Do you remember those scenarios when it will rain? Then your signals are...
Unaenda tu kudoze.
Unaona kimchele.
Unaenda tu kudoze. And I feel like the streaming evolution, though we will miss cable television, the streaming evolution is something big. Because you can watch live events. Live music, live sports, especially for people who watch football. What I want to see if they'll bring live Formula 1. If they do, my brother, cable television, who?
Imeenda.
Imeenda. But Tom, what are your opinions on, the streaming evolution?
Yeah. So first, let me show my age very, very quickly. And in that, I'll also make sure that I show Ken's age as well.
Hawezi enda chini peke yako?
Yes, hawezi enda chini peke yako. So, for us, funny enough, when we were growing up, cartoons used to only be shown between, and this was on holidays. So Nation ilikuwa inapatia Cartoon Network.
Exactly.
Ededanedi.
Yes.
Upige ilikuwa gani? Powerpuff Girls ilikuwa saa 10. Ilikuwa Ededanedi. I'm forgetting the other.
Kulikuwa na Kids Next Door. Nyinyi wazee, wacha nikae on my side.
Flintstones muhimu.
Flintstones, yes.
Scooby-Doo iko hapo. Alafu Tom and Jerry ukimalizia. So
umesahau Bugs Bunny.
Pink Panther.
Bugs Bunny also used to be there. Pink Panther used to be on KTN. So, those days, you used to program your time in such a way that because you're on holidays, mnahakikisha mnaona hiyo ikifika saa 5 sasa mnatoka nje mnaenda kucheza ball. So when DSTV came, just to show you how far
we're evolving.
The first time I saw DSTV, and I remember watching cartoons until 4:00. we are waiting for the channel to now transition to news and then to other stuff. Cartoon inaendelea tu. It's 7 p.m. Cartoon inaendelea tu. 10 p.m. inaendelea tu. And it's cartoon after cartoon after cartoon. Iggy, I'm telling you, that day we ended up sleeping, I think, at 3 a.m. And we slept in the sitting room because we couldn't fathom that there was a channel that was showing cartoons that only from morning, 24 hours, basically. Yeah, so that's a fun time. I know you talked about DSTV, but just a few years back, hiyo pia DSTV ilikuwa inaangaliwa tu. Those days DSTV ilikuwa inakuja na dish ingine ya black.
No, I was there. I was born already.
That one you had seen.
That one I was there.
So by the way, haungeweza kuweka kwa hiyo flat yako Ngwaro hapo ama zenye sisi tunakaa. You get
Tom.
No.
You have to
move past. This is what I'm telling you. That's why it was so expensive and very difficult to put it in your house.
That's true.
Because you see dishes as sahi, if you're staying in an apartment, which I think most of us here do, sinaekwa tu kando.
Yeah.
That thing was so big. Baka ilikuwa lazima kwa la backyard. A proper backyard. Sio ile kidogo, a proper backyard. Juu inaekwa inaangalia hivi juu. Unaweza dhani inaita mandege kukuja. Zilanda hapo. So, anyway, to go from there to pay to watch TV, which is what DSTV is, to where we are now, where it's becoming more and more, it's becoming more and more easy to stream. Because let's be very honest, I think one of the biggest contributors towards success in the streaming industry, even here in Kenya, is one, because internet penetration is at an all-time high. We're talking of 80 to 85%, as you've said, with Airtel alone. They haven't even touched Safaricom. So as long as that continues to grow, then we'll definitely move away from
cable TV.
From cable TV. Because even, just for example, Netflix have started incorporating like live shows.
Even games. It also has games.
Even games.
Yeah.
So as we speak now, I think I didn't get to see it live, but the SAG Awards that happened recently, it was shown live on Netflix. Look at Showmax. Showmax inaonyesha Premier League games live. So you are getting to a point where you're like, okay, internet is everywhere. I have a nice phone, I have maybe a tablet or even just a laptop.
Or a smart TV. Yeah.
Or a smart TV. Why should I, struggle to figure out? I can watch this from anywhere at any given time. So if you ask me where we'll be and whether cable TV is going to survive, it's going to be a tall order, because even here in the country, they just can't compete. They can't compete. Remember the days where Citizen, Nation, and KTN used to have local shows. They don't have anymore, because most of them have been invested on by streaming services like Showmax. I think Prime was also trying, although they're facing some challenges here, Viusasa to some extent. So it's becoming easier for these shows to be placed there compared to now, maybe where zilikuwa zinawekwa KTN and Nation. And the channels are basically becoming, platforms for reruns za vitu zilifanyika. I saw KBC still having Zoro.
Yeah.
Zoro, boss.
Yeah.
Zoro.
Sunday, 10
I used to watch Zoro when I was in class 1 and class 2. Yeah, Iko. Zoro, the real Zoro, the one we used to watch.
Yes.
That one. Yeah. So you see, that's the challenge. Most, and I know maybe Ian can speak to this a little bit more, being in the creative industry, but you're seeing that even most local productions are moving towards that space, because maybe they're not being invested in the way that they would want, as we've seen them state from time to time, but it's giving them that platform to be able to reach out to more users. And with the latest moves now, especially from US streaming services, where they're coming together. So like CBS, TNT, Fox, zimekuja pamoja. These are the main streaming services that show their sports, American football, basketball, and baseball. They're coming together to launch one streaming service. And it's going to be impossible. It's going to be impossible for them to survive. Not only because they're fighting against people who, first of all, are removing their content from cable TV to store on their own platforms, but also that they're making it cheaper to access by bundling up and making sure that they're, really collating libraries that can be able to bring in audiences. It's going to be difficult. So my honest opinion, I think we are at a point where just like although radio bado inajaribu kukula pale, but we are at a point where
podcast inachukua.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to
Okay,
just the way podcast has taken over. Yeah.
Okay, now the Vibes Radio. It's an audiovisual radio. They do the video plus they air the on the radio itself.
Yeah, so I'm not saying we are there yet. I think
But we are
still
heading there.
we still seen DSTV really playing a big role in entertaining households. But you've seen DSTV also launching an app. You've seen DSTV partnering with Showmax. You've seen them pick a premium package of theirs because let's be honest, Premier League's so cheap.
Yeah.
For you to purchase Premier League rights, lazima ukwe na billions umeweka kando. But you've seen them also give it to Showmax.
But it's a huge thing because of course they're getting their money back.
Yeah,
especially with the Premier League season right now.
Yeah.
They're definitely getting it back.
So with all of that money, they've still decided to put it on Showmax. So you can see that even the cable services that we have now, which most of them, the relevant ones, are paid to view. You still see them investing in that sort of space. That shows you that within the next 5 to 10 years or so, television is going to be obsolete. Because even now as we speak, is there anything you watch on Citizen and Nation apart from news?
No.
In fact,
some of us... the news you still stream.
Some of us even watch the news very late. What you do is just rewind and you watch then. So it's still there.
So honestly, it's not bleak if I'm being honest, but it depends with how you're looking at it.
Yeah.
But where we are now, to be honest, streaming is the future. And if you can invest within that space, even for local content, I think that's mainly where you are going to be able to earn money moving forward.
Yeah, because it's even very rare upate mtu amekaa tu aseme acha leo ni watch Citizen.
Yeah.
You know, most people will be like, oh, my show on Netflix. Premier League maybe is going on. Formula 1 is going on. You know, so most people are on their streaming devices. And
you see, it's even taken a step forward. After streaming, imefika bali now, even social media is joining the phrase. I was telling you guys about the who did I get married to?
Yeah.
Hiyo pia imekuwa series.
That was a whole series on TikTok. Who did I get married?
People are spending hours and hours in this space. And we'll share the link. I was telling, I think, Kel and Iggy. 50 episodes.
Na bado hajamaliza, by the way. She's still giving updates and everything.
We are glued to it.
Two major links.
Mtu kama Ignatius, we don't know what he's doing honestly. Bado haja watch your series. Yeah, who did I marry?
The funny thing about this the show.
Yeah.
It's ni mtu mmoja.
Kwa gari tu akifanya vitu zake.
It's just one person, single camera. Kuna maneno mingi. Hata tujui mjama na kaje. The only thing we know is that the guy is called Legion. That's his name.
Mimi nishaona venye ameka. Kwanza amesema, I'm so sorry to remove us from what we are talking about. Mzee ako na proko. He has said that now he's releasing a series with Netflix. He even akitook a picture, you know, in Netflix offices.
Legion now.
Ilikuwa edit. Alieka picha yake kwa, like, you see, if we take a photo of our space here, na to post online. Yani nani, alichukua hii picha, akaeka picha yake hapo ndani. Akasema, new series with Netflix. Ati mnaona, my ex-wife alikuwa anafanya hivi, wati ni wa show.
So that's the thing. This show, if you can call it that, imeshikilia karibu dunia mzima. We are eagerly waiting for the next 10 episodes, I think, just to see. And it's just a lady narrating her story, her deal. Yeah, so that's the future of content, and I think the fact that cable television can't really be able to transition in the way that the streaming services have done just basically means just like radio, na zile TV zetu za kitambo. Kitambo Citizen used to be number 4, number 5. Then it moved now to DSTV where it was 275, I don't know to what. So that era, slowly by slowly. The era of 4 channels kwa TV iliisha.
Yeah.
The era of now, we are coming towards an end. Even though there's still some time, but DSTV obviously is also going to be phased out at some point.
Lakini pia kuna Zuku.
Lakini kuna memories kule kwa cable TV. Kama ukuwahi panda juu ya mabati ukienda kugeuza area.
My friend.
Na kama hujasema
kama ukuwahi anguka.
bas.
Hadi Tom ulianguka.
Kama ukuwahi anguka hujaitengeneza aerial. I can assure you. Kama ukuwahi anguka tu. Na obviously si ile but kuanguka tu ile mzuri tu. Ile mpaka ulalia watu wakikucheka. Au kutengeneza aerial.
Ama kidogo kameshika mvua unakapiga kofi wewe.
Yeah. Those are memories. Those are memories.
Na ile TV ilikuwa chinchi wangu aje, ile kulikuwa Great Wall Sanyo.
Black and white unafanya
Alafu I don't know, Miss G, unajua nyinyi mnakaa ni kama kuna watu nilisikia waliona DSTV kitambo ama ni Edge. Anyway, siongei Cheryl. Yes. Anyway, kuna relax. Tulikuwa unajua, I remember we used to have this black and white TV. And then now kukaanza kuintroduce you are now the colored TV. When it started being introduced, mimi nikaona na maadhi hataki kubai colored. Nina nikatafuta, I don't remember what the name of that paper was. Nikabandika juu ya hiyo TV at least I don't remember. That was colored kidogo.
Nakumbuka kuchora kiasi.
Unaengelea hapo jioni nini, lakini mtu anakaa somehow red, somehow blue.
So inajaribu kukupea those.
You are there for that. By the color, the color euphoria, let me call it that. The color euphoria, by the way, ilikuwa mwenda. And by the way, Cheryl, it's not that ilitupata. It was there, but it's just the TVs were so expensive.
Yeah.
So ungezionanga two places specific. So huku mtaani bado mko na hizi zingine. So when you'd see it maybe in a hotel somewhere in town, ukifika home unaangalia hii ingine hii. Black and white. You start coming up with the ideas, thinking, and that's the creative process. But even for us, just outside this a little bit, we watched Flintstones hadi tukamua kutengeneza hiyo gari.
Engineers.
Yeah, obviously we failed because there's no way you'll get that amount of log and still move the car with your feet. But that was TV. That was cable TV. It was introducing you to this space that, will just spark your imagination. Obviously for Ken, he decided to color the entire screen.
I don't know if I'm the only one who had a very funny scenario. The first time you saw a flat screen TV, the first time I saw it in a hotel, I thought that ukuta ilikuwa imechimbwa. So ile nini imesukumwa ndani ikakaa hivi. Kumbe ukiangalia, it's a flat screen. Naenda kupigia mabeshte wangu story. Naambiwa like, tulikuwa wadogo bado. And it's the first time you see it. So nadhania ukuta imechimbwa, imewekwa. But
na imagine igi kwa akili yake. Na nyuma ya hii imeenda wapi?
Watu wanaekuaje hapo?
Fanya hivi kwa ukuta.
Exactly.
That evolution. You just had to be there. But it just shows how we're also evolving.
Yeah.
All the way from the AI now to cable television. I will miss cable television. It'll never be the same.
It won't be.
It won't be. But, we learn, we grow. We can't remain in the same spot. And I'd honestly say, Mimi personally, I'm grateful for the evolutions that are happening and that we're able to experience them. Hata kama Igi alikuwa nafikiria TV, kiki.
We are in the right time and age.
Nifanya nianze kuongea kikisi hapa tena. But guys, thank you so much for joining us for this amazing episode. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I definitely did enjoy myself. How did you guys feel? Enjoyed the episode?
So much.
It was a good
Thank
episode.
you guys for listening. And in fact, I wanted to also just throw something out. If you'd also give our listeners a chance to suggest to us other things they want to listen from us, so that we can create content around them.
Yeah.
So you always give us your ears, and we also want to create things that really conforms with you. Feel free, share some things on the chat area down there so that we can create content around.
Yes, don't be afraid to share anything. Comment. Guys, comment kwa videos zetu. Tunataka kuona. Kwanza, our views ni mingi. By the way, we are so grateful. Thank you guys so much. Lakini when you are subscribe,
do more.
I'm just subscribe lakini mna watch, guys. Come on. Anyway, guys, we'd like to hear back from you guys. Kindly tell us how you feel about the episode, how you feel about our previous episodes. What more you'd like to hear? Because this is a learning podcast for us. We are learning, you're learning. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Thank you guys so much once again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Adios.